So I knew that they were doing this to people, and but I don't know, something just clicked inside of me and said, what if? Why just kill them when you can kill them and trade for technology?
Hello, welcome to the Mark Outward Show, Adventures in the Cosmic Suits. Do you know what the secret to health is? Smiling. I know, I've got English teeth. It's hard for me to do this. I've got Austin Powers teeth. They're being done, but you've got to keep smiling. I was just talking to my partner in the healing center, Gary, and he was talking to me about a 28-day retreat up a mountain with monks. And if you're given one instruction, smile and stand up straight. And if they catch you not doing it, you get a physical, punishment where, like, go and fill this up with water, but the well's 20 miles away and you have to walk there, walk back. And if they watch you with binoculars, and if you're caught not smiling, they make you do it again. 28 days later, all ailments gone. I'm going to look into that for another show, another day, because that's a positive thing. And it goes a long way. Smile goes a long way. But today, this is currently being recorded on the 20th of August, 2024. There's something that's been in my consciousness for quite a long time, and especially in the last 4 years since I started the podcast. And that is the Orion Wars. Heard of those? Most people know about Orion in the sky, the Ford Orion, which was a ship version of the Ford Sierra. But the Orion Wars are incredibly interesting and part of our history. And it was 3 or 4 years ago that I discovered a website called the OrionLines.com, which is full of incredible research. And that research is all done by a man called Ryushin Malone, who's here with me today. How you doing, Ryushin?
Hey, Mark. Thank you so much for having me on. Thank you.
The pleasure's all mine. We were chatting before the show, and I swear I emailed you a few years ago, and it didn't. And then I can't find the email. And then I'm having a conversation about the Orion Wars, and I was like, oh, hang on. And then I went back to find your website, and I was like, and then I emailed you, and here we are.
Here we are, talking about Orion.
Well, let's start there. What's the story?
Sure.
What's the story with Orion?
Well, so I started this about 7 years ago, doing research on extraterrestrials, and basically I collected as much information, evidence, as I possibly could find online, and went through it all and realized that about 80% of what was out there was garbage, and that 20% of it was good. But that's 20%. There was a lot of good information, good evidence. Alien bodies, UFO sightings, and Orion. And so it took me about a year of going through everything to figure it out. But basically, I was working on the Nazca lines and trying to figure out, what they are. And I realized that they were a pulsar star map of territory markings, and that the whole site is actually in the shape of the star constellation Orion. And it was very interesting because I looked into Orion and found the Ascension glossary on the internet talking about the Orion group and the Alpha Draconian. And that said that the Orion group is a satanic force who takes over star systems. And I was like, whoa, what?
Squeeze
Really?
me.
Yeah, really? A satanic force that takes over star systems? And to see, the Nazca lines being their territory markings, um, it was alarming.
Hmm.
And, well, basically, very simply, I was going through evidence of the Nazi UFOs, and I realized, how did they get their hands on this technology? And, I thought to myself, what if the Holocaust was involved in this, in some kind of trade with the aliens? And I thought to myself, because I was also looking into the cattle mutilations and the human mutilations, and I realized that those were actually adrenochrome harvesting,
Hmm.
where they torture the victim, cow or horse or human being, for about 45 minutes to an hour while they're collecting the adrenaline. So it's pure before it enters the bloodstream, but then they take the blood and a few other enzymes and that stuff too. Um, so I knew that they were doing this to people, and but I don't know, something just clicked inside of me and said, what if? Why just kill them when you can kill them and trade for technology? And I thought to myself, that makes sense. Why just kill them when you can kill them and trade for technology? The Jews. And 6 months later, I found evidence that the Nazis built the Nazi death marches, the pathways leading to the death camps, in the shape of Orion, to honor Orion, an homage to Orion, the satanic force. And I thought, wow, maybe this has to do with Moses leading the Jews out of Egypt under Orion rule. And I'll get into it. Basically, what I discovered was this Orion group took over from these little beings. Um, and they have been at war with each other for thousands of years. And what this war is, it's the core war that has been going on this whole time for everything that's happened. Every war that's been fought has been this war. It's over the balance. Have you ever seen Constantine, Mark?
I saw the movie with Keanu Reeves, and
Yes,
there was a
that's
TV version not long ago as well. Yeah, I have.
right.
Yeah,
It's like that,
yeah.
except what's really going on is that God and the devil, angels and demons are extraterrestrials. I know that sounds crazy to some people, but the evidence that I have suggests that that is what's going on. And I'm going to get into it with showing visuals, but and please stick with me. I'm going to get into it and explain myself. I know it sounds crazy, but um, so
It's all right. You're on the right show for crazy.
basically, so back to the Nazi death marches being the shape of Orion, it was clear to me that they traded some of those people for technology, and that's how they got that technology. And what happened was, they Admiral Byrd went down to Antarctica and got his butt kicked in the 40s, and then came back and, you know, told them what was going on, that there were Nazis down there with aliens, very powerful with their technology. And then in 52 there was the flyover, and then in 54 there was the Granada Treaty.
You're talking 52. You're talking about the flyover over the White House, right?
Yes, it was the White House. They flew over the Capitol building and directly over the White House.
Yeah.
In 52, and then they made the deal, and trading human beings for technology. But it was more of so I've heard there were three options. There was go to nuclear war with them, um, which would destroy everything, or do something in between, let them take over, or do something in between. And so they agreed to doing this trade, and these beings started taking way more people than agreed upon. And they weren't just doing medical experiments on the people, they were finding mutilated people all over America, with the cattle happening as well. And what I discovered, I mean, it was very quickly after I realized the Nazi connection to Orion. I realized that the deep underground military bases were constructed identical in the shape of Orion. So it was, they built it identical, and symbolism will be their downfall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can I share some
Please do.
information? Cool.
Can I ask you a question quickly?
Sure.
I read your stuff a number of years ago, and for me, it tied in with what I knew about John Dee, who was did a deal 500-600 years ago when he was working under Queen Elizabeth I. Have you come? Is that I've not seen that on yours? Is that
I haven't written about that or gotten into that. No, but it's all there. It's all a part of it.
Yeah, it's a common story, isn't it?
I think that the stories of those people being reptilians is true. The elite ruling class, I think some of them are reptilians for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, but from what it looks like to me, it looks like the satanic side has been ruling over us, and this other group has been fighting them, and it's been going back and forth for quite some time.
Okay.
So,
yeah, well, I can't disagree with that. Have you got something you want to show us?
yes, please.
Okay.
Just let me know when.
There it is.
Good. Good. Thank you. So this is my website, theorionlines.com. It's full of information, aliens, UFOs, all kinds of stuff. Mostly conspiratorial stuff. All my research that I found to be important for people to know. And lots of great speakers. But this is what I was talking about with the Nazi death marches being in the shape of Orion, the star constellation Orion. And a lot of people have trouble with this because when they hear Orion, they just think of the belt, the Orion's belt. But it's not. It's just this part here that they used, And this was Westinghouse who paid for the railroads, and those people. Um, Rothschild was a part of it, Westinghouse, and a few others, until they got smart and they were like, hey, why should we pay for this when we can make the American taxpayer pay for it?
Mm-hmm.
But this time that they can do it in secret. So they stole trillions and trillions of dollars and created these deep underground military bases. And when Phil Schneider was alive, um, he said that there was 131 deep underground military bases built, and they were $18 billion a piece. And it's really interesting. He was murdered that same year, 1996, when that came out. And it's very interesting because 130 times 18 billion equals $2.3 trillion. Does that sound familiar?
Donald Rumsfeld.
That's right. That's
September
right.
the 8th, 2001, I think.
September the 10th.
10th, yeah, sorry.
That's
Got the dates wrong.
Yeah, September the 10th. And look at the World Trade Center. The World Trade Center's in the shape of Orion's belt. But it's not just, the pyramids. It's all of the pyramids in China, Giza, Teotihuacan in Mexico. And these pyramids all align to Orion.
Mm-hmm.
And what's been going on is that this Orion group has been ruling over us in secret, to humanity. The secret societies, however, know all about the aliens and where they come from. So what I wanted to get into, I wanted to bring up this. So this is my book, Catastrophic Disclosure, and it has tons of pictures and the whole story, only $9.95. It's a great book, to toot my own horn, but also there's my first book, which is here for free. All you have to do is click on this and it will download a Word document, and you can see it's basically a picture book of all my work that I've come across. So let me get into Orion.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to do this much quicker because there's so much. So
well, this is an introduction to my audience, the people who come across it. So this is perfect. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So this is what I found. It was the Alpha Draconian, the Orion group. And this is from the Ascension Glossary. So basically, the Orion group is a satanic force who takes over star systems and uses people for slaves and just, not good stuff. And allegedly, they've been working with the Nordic group with Hitler's Germany in World War II. This map is the Nazca lines, but it's not correct. It was something that I was working on. I never finished. The only thing that I got right that I know of is Libra. I know Libra is correct, but these lines I know for sure are pulsar star maps. It's the measurement of light that a star emits. And the problem was that this map that was released by the World Historical Society is only a 30th of the entire map. And, it took me a while to figure that out. But when I did, basically the map is about this big. I don't know if can you see my cursor?
I can.
It's about that white map is only about this big.
Gotcha.
And so there are 29 other maps the same size. But when I scrolled all the way out, I could see that it was in the shape of Orion, the Nazca lines. And also, the Nazca lines are not significant. Yeah. There are lines all over the world. There are lines in the Mexican desert. There are lines all over the Hawaiian desert. This I found in Hawaii just by searching for anything, and I came across Orion carved into the earth in Hawaii. The pyramids are Orion. China, Egypt, the Napa Playa is Orion. Teotihuacan is Orion. So basically, yeah, well, I don't know. Let me get through this. Stonehenge is Orion also. There's Orion incorporated with it, but it's also the slaughter stone, and this is where they've been doing the human sacrifices, and that has been at all over the world. These human sacrifices. This is the birthplace, ladies and gentlemen, of Satanism, and why they were really doing it. They were doing it because these beings were coming down and they were communicating with these human beings, and they wanted sacrifices, and that's what they were doing. And that's why there are many secret societies. This is the Thurmborough Hedges in England. It's in the shape of Orion. Full Dargarn Hill Fort.
Full Drygarn.
Thanks.
That's in Wales. Yeah.
There's one in Scotland. New Grange, Ireland.
Yeah.
Is Orion. Bolivia is Orion. There's a Stonehenge arm, Orion arm in Australia. Germany. And there were cruel and twisted discoveries at Germany Stonehenge. They were finding children bound and with their skulls cracked open, and bound, buried there. They were torturing people. How about Paris? And what that is the all-seeing eye, which is actually what the alien's vehicle is. The all-seeing eye, and there's a video of it right here. The Pentagon Pyramid, which appeared over the Pentagon December 19th, 2018, and that was to find out why the aliens were double-crossed.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because we were all supposed to be harvested. with Agenda 21. And there it is right there. It's a big, gigantic black tetrahedron, a pyramid-shaped craft. That's the all-seeing eye. And it comes from Orion.
So they were double-crossed.
They were double-crossed, and that's a story in of itself, which I have evidence for that I was going to go over later on. I'll get into it later on.
Okay.
So the Grand Canyon, there are Orion elements, the Hopi Native Americans. This is from, what is it, the History Channel? Yeah. There's some stuff that's, from the History Channel. Not all of my stuff, but this is me. And also there looks to be like a pyramid type deal here in Hawaii. Yeah. Possibly. So, which, leads us to the newer stuff, which is the Nazi death marches. And I strongly believe this was a revenge for Moses leading the Jews out of Egypt under Orion rule. And what I've learned by going through the evidence is that the Jews, they used to do this child sacrifice to Baal, and then they were in Egypt and they were doing this, sacrifice thing still until Moses came along and freed the Jews from, this satanic business of Moloch worship. And so what I figured out was, so there's the Jew, and then there are the Zionists. The Zionists worship Moloch. The Jew worships God. That's why the Jews don't want anything to do with Israel. It goes against the Torah. No, the Torah.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. There are obelisks in Manhattan that align to Orion's belt, the World Trade Center. So this human group, the secret societies, they all knew about Orion. That's why they incorporated it in everything. Symbolism will be their downfall. The NASA logo, I realized that there was Orion, Draco, and the Palladian star system in there. No, I don't think anyone else has ever pointed that out. But here's the Space Force logo, Draco and the Palladian. No more Orion. Why? Where did Orion go? It's almost like somebody came along and revealed Orion. So behind the Pentagon, the Air Force Memorial, I was driving down the road to do a protest in front of the Pentagon with the human mutilations. And I'm driving down and I look over and I see this 3-pronged structure erected, in the sky. And I instantly knew that it lined up to Orion's belt at 33 degrees in the night sky. It's another homage to Orion, the satanic Orion. Yeah. Orion at Area 51, the Apollo mission was called Orion. Apollo 16 was called Orion. There was Project Orion, which was basically Space Force before it was, what is it called? Solar Warden.
Part of the secret space program.
Right. Yeah, in the 50s. And but there's the newer Orion spacecraft, which hasn't even launched yet. The Orion laser, the Orion CIA spy satellites, massive satellites that sit high above Earth, and they watch everything. They watch everything. That's called Orion. Orion, the Russian Orion drones, the Orion cube, which is a 8-inch by 8-inch by 8-inch yellow cube that's also known as the Yellow Book. It's a quantum temporal time viewing device.
Yeah, it's like Looking Glass.
It's like the Looking Glass, but it's alien technology. Yeah. And it's a little different. The I think, yeah, the Yellow Book, the Orion Cube, has more to do with your own personal timeline, and the Looking Glass is more encompasses everybody, or it's something like that. And then there's everything that's named Orion, Ford Orion, telescopes, pictures, software, Solar Winds. Remember that? Solar Winds Network. So yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot going on.
Was that Tom Hanks' son?
Oh yeah. What's his name?
Chet or something.
Chet. Yeah. Chet's got the all-seeing eye, but he also has the star Orion stars and the caduceus, which is the symbol for adrenochrome harvesting. So yeah, all these people, they all are reptilian worshippers, Satan worshippers. The secret society symbology. You can see the Bilderberg group is Orion. But there are many of them that are always talking about how merciful the night. Let there be night. There's a lot of this night stuff. And what I figured out was that there's something called night first. That's the time that we have been in, keeping it the whole thing secret with the aliens until Lucifer showed up revealing everything. Because Lucifer is not Satan.
No.
Lucifer is someone totally different, because the Catholic Church has been tampering with information. Yeah. But this is James Elefantis. He's actually the one of the nephews related to James Rothschild. And he was in the whole Pizzagate thing. There he is doing the Orion 3 stars, the Orion's belt. But he was the one who was talking about night first in another video, and I picked up on that, and I was like, what is this night first? Night first is keeping humanity in the dark about the aliens, about God and the devil, the demons and angels. Yeah, it's been keeping us in the dark. So they've been calling it night first. And Lucifer is known as Venus, the morning star, the one that shows up before day. So it's almost day. When day is when the aliens come down, and it's unavoidable. Yeah, day. Nothing can stop what's coming. That's what's coming. So this is the Black Suns, the Orion group symbol. very significant. This is the black sun symbol. It's the alien symbol. It's not just Nazi. It's actually the Orion group symbol. And
the Vril Society.
then the Vril Society, yes. This is also what the Ukraine people have on their patch. Their A30B Azov battalion patch is the Orion sun, the black sun rising. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
How there's night first and then the morning star and then day, but on this satanic side is the black sun rising. Yeah. These satanic assholes.
Out of the water. Is that the water that it's rising above there?
This is water. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what that is, but what it means. But I know that it's the Orion group symbol rising.
Mm-hmm.
And did you hear what happened in Ukraine today?
No, not today. I've been so busy. I've not.
They outlawed Christianity.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Outlawed.
Nice guys.
And then there was also what's his name? Oh, come on. It's been so long since I've gone through this stuff. What's his name?
Podesta.
Podesta. Yes, John Podesta. John Podesta meets with Josindus in New Zealand, and a week later, this dude goes into a mosque and shoots up the place, kills 49 people, has the black sun symbol. But I knew that John Podesta was a part of the Black Suns. So him going to meet with Josindus told me that Josindus was part of the Black Suns as well.
Yep.
And then to have this guy go in, but what they did was this allowed them to do something called the Christchurch Call. And they got over 100 countries to get rid of all their guns, 120 governments to get rid of all their guns over a false flag. Yeah. Satanism. There's also Orion from Behold a Pale Horse, where they were using drugs and hypnosis on mental patients in a process the CIA called Project Orion to open fire on schoolyards, thus inflaming the anti-gun lobby. And while there's been other programs at play, I'm sure, especially with man, I can't believe how foggy I am. Antidepressant drug. What's it called? God. Prozac.
Yeah.
Prozac. And the connection to children taking Prozac, and getting all screwed up in the head and going shooting. There's stuff about that with Q also. I'm big into Q, by the way.
Well, I gathered that.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to talk about that as well. Yeah.
I've got a whole bunch of connections with the aliens to Q that no one's ever seen before. Well, no one would ever know.
That would be very interesting.
There's also the FBI has an Orion, and then they're trying to take the guns away. And that's because it's a battle for the soul of our nation. They've been trying to get us adrenochrome harvested.
Yeah.
And I guess I can show you some of this stuff. What's the time? Oh, okay. So we got like a few minutes left. I have
Oh,
so much information, but
no, I know, and this is just wherever you want to take it is fine.
so what happened was, I'll tell you this story. Um, so basically, it was all a matter of paying attention. And after doing Buddhism for 30 years, and I was born at a Buddhist monastery, and my parents were both Buddhists. And I started sitting myself when I was 16, and I've been sitting for quite some time. But and it's what the reason why I'm talking about that is because it's a matter of sitting, paying attention.
Yeah,
And all I had to do was sit here and pay attention, watch everything, watch the entire system, and stuff would come up. And this came out that there was an unprecedented amount of activity at Area 51. The lizard people were coming out of the desert, and they were freaking out
hmm
on December 7th, 2018. We were like, what the fuck is going on out there? Well, 12 days after, the tetrahedron, the Pentagon pyramid, showed up over the Pentagon. And by them doing this told me that the aliens revealed themselves because they were pissed off. They wanted to know why they were kicked out of Area 51 12 days before.
Mm.
So at least that's how I interpreted it. It made sense why they would show up.
hmm
But there were other things to, suggest why they would show up. There was the Russians were allowed to fly over Area 51 for the first time ever 2 months afterward in 2019. And then there was the Space Force
hmm
hearing, along with the reveal of the Space Force logo and having Orion taken out
Mm.
of Space Force. And then there was earthquakes at all these locations, um, of the deep underground military bases, which is very interesting because it was William Cooper who said they were working on a weapon in the early 90s called Project Joshua and
hmm
Project Excalibur. Project Excalibur was uh, a warhead that could penetrate uh, 1,000, 2,000 meters of horde packed um, desert sand that found in New Mexico. And they said that the people building it were never pushed harder than on Project Excalibur, and that it was specifically designed to kill the aliens in the deep underground military bases. Yeah, so
I mean, I was actually thinking the other day how a lot of people right now that have been following this and following Q that have kind of given up have forgotten aspects of things like the smoke coming out of the ground in London a few years ago,
right, yeah, I
Buckingham
remember.
Palace being boarded up,
Yeah,
um,
I
you
remember
know,
that.
Washington DC being bricked up, or fenced off, and it, these there's a lot of people that have lost hope in that idea, isn't there?
Oh yeah, oh for sure. Especially with the getting cut off for the past 4 years. We didn't expect him to go hibernate, you know, for 4 years. Um, it had to be this way,
Mm,
and there was they needed more time, and this was the only way. And who knows why? I don't know. Perhaps it had to do with the positive aliens. I don't know. Taking control of out there. I don't know. But it's a terrible nightmare for what they've done.
Yeah.
You know, the whole satanic thing, finding out that they're all, you know, these Moloch worshippers, you know, sacrificing human beings, and then now everything outside makes sense. Why there's fluoride in the water, why we're being sprayed with chemtrails, all the food in at least America, it's all poison. That's another thing. The high fructose corn syrup,
Yeah. Fattening us up.
they've been fattening us up in
Yeah.
trade for technology with the reptilians.
So this is a really, I mean, anybody watching this, go to the orionlines.com, have a look through Ryushin's research, and you'll see, you know, it's undeniable that there is a link between all of this and Orion. And we could go deep into lots of these subjects, and I know you've done years of research, but what you said about Q is interesting, because Q's been kind of sidelined, and obviously because there's been no posts apart from the odd couple in the last 4 years.
Well, let me hit this one off first, because this one's very important. These are the Nazca alien mummies. In the summer of 2017, I was sitting meditation. I was teaching Zen Buddhism in Bangor, Maine, and I experienced two beings come to me. And after that experience, I was just crazy when I got home, because I was like, they're real. Oh my God, they're real. And I started researching it right from after that. A week later, the Nazca alien mummies were released. There were two different species. One was the 2 foot tall beings, and the second one was a 5 foot tall being. And I knew they were real because of the x-rays, which are on another page, of course. But by looking at the x-rays, I knew they were real. And a week after that, I realized that they were the same species sitting with King Akhenaten and Queen Nefertiti. Now, it's very interesting because for a very long time, history has been saying these beings were their children. And that's not true. These beings are the same species as these aliens. And what they were saying was they were calling the sun disk the one true Aten. They were calling the sun disk Aten. Well, I don't think that's correct. I think they were calling these little beings Aten, and they were also calling them the one true God. So, are these little beings the ones who created us? They're the only species ever depicted in their likeness throughout all human history. Are these the ones that made us? And I ask that because they were seen thousands of years earlier in Sumerian times. They were being taken over by another group. And, well, that other group was probably the Orion group that took over and trampled over them. And also with Moloch, This is from a Babylonian cylinder seal. A group of beings with Moloch with the horns doing a child sacrifice, but it's not a child. It's these little beings. It's not a child. There it is in the same kneeling, being forced to heal. So, are they God? Well, honestly, I think they are. But that's just me, my personal. And I don't know. I mean, I'm 98% sure. For all I know, there could be a higher God than that. But what happened was there were many gods, and then we add in Egypt, and then all of a sudden King Akhenaten and Queen Nefertiti show up, declare there is one true God, Aten, and then all of a sudden the old gods come back. And that's because it's been the war over Christianity and the balance. And you can see he'll be back. And what it is they're actually time travelers. Yeah, the United Nations, the Vatican, Ground Zero. These things they're vessels, they're vehicles. And you can see Jesus is riding on one. He has his feet on one. And Revelation. There is also this with Jesus being crucified, and then there's the two fighting each other, the good and the bad, the devil versus God.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's been about this whole time.
Yep.
And it's depicted in everything, all of the ancient pictures, and even hell. Hell is depicted. And hell is real. But this is the war that was going on. They were fighting each other time and time again, where they would show up, the both of them, and they both fight each other.
Do you think that's what we're going to see in the sky soon?
It could happen, yeah. Anything could happen. I think they're going to do a fake alien invasion, blame it on Orion. But they've made deals with the devil, and that's the deal of the balance. They were allowed to have us as dinner time.
Food, yeah.
Dinner time. Depictions of hell where human beings are being all ripped apart.
Mm-hmm.
In every single one, where is hell? Hell is underground.
Mm-hmm.
What's underground? The deep underground military bases. That's what's been going on down there. Where have all these children been going? They've been bringing them to the deep underground military bases. This satanic group of people who've been in control of our world, working for Rothschild and all those people. And it really comes through with the Satan worshipers themselves putting out the evidence, the saying things like in 2020 there was Marilyn Manson who said, prepare, never-ending astral vampires. And he knew. These Satan worshipers knew and thought we were going to get the axe in Agenda 21, but they didn't know about the double cross.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
You want to talk about the double cross?
Yeah.
Well, it's clear to me that the military, double crossed them, but it it um but I think no, I don't want to talk about that. I mean there's enough. I've already covered most of it, I think. Let me think about it. How about St. John? He was being helped to write Revelations, and there was Ben Franklin, gifted technology, electricity,
Hmm.
little beings. The double cross.
Are you spiritually protected? Are you wearing the armor of God? Are you prepared against the principalities of darkness that currently wreak havoc in our world? Spiritual warfare is a very real thing. Weapons of Mass Protection is the explosive and practical 5-star best-selling book from authors Abby Wynn and Mark Attwood, who both agree that humanity is in the midst of the biggest spiritual awakening in human history. If you feel like things ain't what they seem, if you feel you are under attack, get your weapons ready now. Weapons of Mass Protection. Practical tools for spiritual warfare. Out now.
I mean, there's not much I can really say other than what I've already said.
That's okay. Just I was
I'm trying to think about.
I found it interesting because I went through something not long ago where I was told that I'd made a deal to come here this time, but I double crossed them.
Oh,
And I found that interesting because what you're alluding to is the military, that it's going a good way, right? There's an optimistic outcome.
right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what I mean, it's very tricky because after Trump's, I guess, departure, the military and the White Hats had to drop the rope. Excuse me. Like they were playing tug of war. They had to drop the rope and let the Satan worshipers pick it up to continue on.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about this.
That's all right. If you need a minute, we can pause. And
so there was also the Orion 23, which was the NATO practice of invading Russia in 2023. They called it Orion 23. Just throwing that in there while I'm going through this stuff. It was also Tom DeLonge in Tom DeLonge's book that he talks about God and how according there were lesser beings that created human beings, but they don't know the true God. But I don't know about that. Pretty crazy, right? Here I found this is the Mayan Mexican art, and these things are massive. Hey, how about this? Can I share something else?
yeah, sure.
I have a whole bunch of significant.
I'm just going to close this door while you're loading.
Sure.
It's getting chilly.
So I've typed about 21 different species. All of these are different species, and I basically did this for myself so that when I'm looking through the evidence and I've been making connections to all of these different aliens, and sometimes I'll find a match. So I'll connect them, like this guy. This is a match. The same fingers, same fingers,
Yeah.
same fingers. But this is from a video. This is Maria from the Gaia TV. And this is a picture found on the internet. So, let's see here. About a reptilian. Someone drew this before I had this connection. Somebody drew the picture of Obama holding a real reptilian. They knew what a reptilian looked like, which is really interesting to find that. A gray, a real gray. Yeah, I was able to figure out which one is a gray. It's the Stan Romanak. That is a real gray. I'm going to speed through this. You can see the hand, how it goes down the center. It folds down the center of the palm. Well, these are the same type of hands.
Mm-hmm.
There's Orion, and then there's Hell, and then how about pyramids?
Mm-hmm.
All the different pyramids, not all of them, but many of them were basically a welcome mat. And I'm pretty sure, I believe they built the pyramids so no opposing army could bum rush their ship and hijack their ship.
So it's like a landing pad.
Yeah, it's like a landing pad.
Just hard to get. Yeah.
Yeah, hard to get up. And it's when they showed up, the offerings would, they would give offerings, sacrificing human beings, and they'd eat people right in the open. They'd eat, and they'd make us eat. The human beings eat too. This is a major connection, by the way. The Codex Gigax to the Mayan creature. It's like the same being with the claws out. Yeah.
Nice.
Found this. Aliens building the pyramids with blocks. And this device, which I'm pretty sure is cooling, and I got that from Lou Elizondo. Cooling, a certain temperature below zero cuts through rock like butter, but it's cold. That's the key. More pictures of the aliens building pyramids, and I know this is real because these tablets are massive, and there's hundreds of them. Massive tablets. No artist would be, carving these out of stone, selling these on, a highway, for $10 in Mexico. Nobody would do that. So it's like, when hundreds of them, it's, I also have, pictures of aliens having sex with human beings, and there are many different species also that have been depicted. This is from Hittites, the Hittites, 1600 BC, and it looks to me like this is a little person, but up here it looks to me like a Buddha sitting between the gods. It's very interesting to see that. What's in the bag?
Well, yeah, this has come up a few times. Yeah, just for me.
Seeds. Seeds in the bag. And what were they doing? They were seeding the earth. Animals, plants, human beings, corn. But I got that. I figured it out because the Aztec picture of Kukulkan doing this. And I realized, wow, it's seeds. Seeds were in the bag. Everybody's like, no, it's oxygen. How about what's his name? Eric von Daniken. Do you know him?
Yeah, Fingerprints of the Gods. And
yep.
whatnot.
And
yeah,
he did Chariots of the Gods.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Chariots. Yeah.
So he thought that this was a spaceship, and it was King Pakal going up in a spaceship.
Yes,
but it's not. It's actually Kukulkan with a large sword or knife plunging into a sacrifice with blood raining out while being on the sacrificial altar.
Wow.
Yeah, so I proved Eric von Daniken wrong. From a Mayan tablet, and I was going through them, and I saw this, and I was like, oh my God, he's in the same position as King Pakal.
Yeah.
And I went over here, and I saw instantly.
Yeah.
I saw the sword and the blood and the but that's major. That's a major realization. How about the Palladian pyramids found off of the coast of Connecticut?
I've not seen these.
Yeah, I found pyramids that align to the Palladian star system off the coast of Guilford, Connecticut, years ago. This is all 2017, 2018. Yeah, I've just been ignored for it's almost been 7 years. Nobody gave a shit. Everybody was like, yeah, you're full of shit. All right. So I got fat instead.
Well, perseverance is the key for this war.
Yeah, that's right. And it's it's a war. It's information war. And let me tell you, the information, there it is. That's the information. That's the big one. That and God. And I'm pretty sure I'm right, considering they had to have Lou Elizondo come out and start telling people, some things aren't exactly as what you've been told.
Yeah.
So this is the missing 411 in relation to the deep underground military bases. The Devil's Triangle. Alaska, Nevada, California. Great Lakes Triangle. So, I'm not going to get into that.
Give us some good news.
Some good news.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that for the past, I'm going to shut this down. I think for the past, since 2016, there have been sightings of illuminated vehicles all over the world. I think that the Granada Treaty has been stopped in 2018, and I think the positive aliens have taken over, trying to get the Greys out of here, and the Orion group and the Draco out of here. At least that's what appears to me. But there is this crazy situation in the human realm that's like, what are they doing? Why is this, how do you deal with, half of the elite being part of this satanic club that's interested in, murdering children and, poisoning us and killing the rest of us off? It's like, so I have faith, not much.
Well, you said you were big into Q, and Q is I read Q as a very positive thing. I never saw it as like there's a savior coming. I always thought it was about self-empowerment and waking people up.
Well, I mean, no, I don't think there is a savior coming. I think Q was stretching out to the public, the military stretching out to the public, and I think it was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a really good thing. But I never thought like Trump was a savior or anything like that. Although I'm for Trump, definitely. And Q. Do you want to look through a few Q things?
Sure.
Okay. Because there are some really important Q things that people probably overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
Because being unaware of the whole alien thing.
Yeah.
All right. Do you got me there?
Yep, you're there.
Okay. Q says, "Are we alone?" Oh, Q, are we alone?
Mm-hmm.
Roswell, no. Highest classification. Consider the vastness of space. Is the Earth flat? No. So Q says, perhaps someday people will understand they had a plan to conduct another mass extinction event. He's talking about Agenda 21.
Yeah.
And why do the D's push for gun control directly after having every tragic incident?
Mm-hmm.
It's to disarm us. World War I and World War II, orchestrated and planned by select families. Yeah. We never needed to go to war. In any war. Let's see here. Many governments of the world feed the eye, and the eye is the all-seeing eye, or the tetrahedron, the Pentagon pyramid, the alien overlords. That's the eye. The massive black pyramid-shaped craft that was above the Pentagon, and it was also above the Kremlin. And this eye is what Q is talking about. Many governments of the world feed the eye. Think slush funds, think war, think environmental pacts. Triangle has three sides. The eye of providence is also what the all-seeing eye is called. Does Satan exist? Does the thought of Satan exist? Who are the Satan worshiper? Who worships Satan? What is a cult? Epstein Island. And it's pretty clear what they were up to on Epstein Island,
Mm-hmm.
doing child sacrifice. Um, more talk about the Eye of Ra, which is also the all-seeing eye and the Eye of Providence. History books were changed 20 years ago, 10 years ago. This year, the map of the Nazi death marches and are in the shape of Orion. Oh, Hillary Rodham Clinton victory was a hell on earth, and that would have been the release of the Agenda 21. Yeah.
Well, that's the good news. She didn't.
No. Yeah, it was stopped. It was stopped. And as soon as Trump got into office, the first thing that Biden did was try to get Space Force stopped. He wanted Space Force out. Undiscovered stars learned. The hunter becomes the hunted. Who is the hunter?
The Orion group.
That's right. The Orion group. Sometimes you can't tell the public the truth. You must show them. Yep. Only then will people find the will to change. Crimes against children unite all humanity across party lines. Difficult truths. And those truths are feeding aliens, reptilian beings, children in trade for technology. And not good. Really not good. Because when people find out, what's been going on, they're going to panic. I've already been well past. I mean, I figured it out, so yeah, they won't be able to walk down the street. No, they won't be.
This is the good news, though, isn't it? Because
this is the good news. Yeah, there is good news. Yeah, the whole thing gets exposed, and these people can't walk around, pretending that Satanism doesn't exist.
Yeah, and it's happening in front of us. Not as fast as we'd like, but it's definitely happening. Oh, it's definitely happening. It's definitely happening.
Yeah.
We're laughing because everything just disappeared. I had to pause it quickly, but it's definitely happening. I'm very optimistic about everything, but it's painful. This is a painful process, isn't it? And it's a long time, and you've put yourself right in the depths of it, as have I and quite a few other people. And it's hard to hold that knowledge while still getting up, paying your bills, trying to,
absolutely
trying to enjoy your day because you know what's really going on. It's not easy to do, and I commend you for putting yourself right into that. It's not easy.
I commend everyone out there who has to deal with it just as well.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry that it's such such terrible news, but it has to be told. It's scary, but it's not like I'm trying to scare people like with fear porn. I want you to be afraid. It's not like that.
No.
It's like it's like having cancer. You can't just wrap it, and hope that it will get better. You have to cut it out, which,
I'm not sure you have to cut, but I know exactly what you mean. We got to face it collectively.
Yeah, it's scary and it's terrible, and no one wants to hear it, but we have to hear it. And somebody had to do it, and unfortunately it was me. And it's been wearing on my heart. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times I've had to go over and over that whole story, thousands of times, and it's just so it's so exhausting. It truly is. But well, if you'd like, you can order my book at the orionlines.com. It's
I will.
only for $9.95, and it's full of the whole story. It's got pictures in it. It's very interesting, to say the least. And if you'd like to leave a donation, that would be great too. Those can be made at my website at the top as well.
And I'll leave a link below this video for that.
Cool.
And I just want to say thank you, Ryushin, for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Mark. I really appreciate it.
No, well, I appreciate all your work, and I know it's not been easy.
I hope it's useful.
It is
to you,
useful.
You know,
it's useful. It's useful for everybody. This has to be. It's not about being right about everything. It's about knowing there's a picture out there that most of the people on this planet have no idea about. And for me, it's about the children and no more. Right? Just no more.
Yeah, that's a big one, of course, for me.
Yeah.
You know, and orphan children. I don't have kids, but you know, I just couldn't imagine seeing that or being a part of that. You know, children suffering. Such a shame. It's not right.
It is, and it's not. And I'm going to have to go now because I've got my own children to go and eat with.
Okay.
But really appreciate your time today, and thanks and hopefully I'll speak to you again soon. And you guys, the
Anytime.
link. Cheers, dude. The orionlines.com. Go and get Ryushin's book, and I will go and get it now. But it's at the end of the day for me. I'm running out of steam myself. But great. Thank you so much for joining me, and take care.
Be well.
Thanks for watching, everyone.